here from my dining room table and looking over at my beautiful wife, trying to make sure she doesn't make any noise, and she's smiling at me. And I'm so excited to bring to you on behalf of, oh my God, on behalf of the Inspire Network and the Influencers Network, we're bringing to you an incredible conversation that I had with the great Dr. Samchand, and his introduction is in this video. And I want to give this to you as a gift because every single one of us right now, we're leading in these very unique times. And in this interview conversation that I have with Sam, it's so good, so refreshing, but also very enlightening. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Feel free to pass it on, but it's our gift to you, and I'll see you at the back end of this. All right, you guys take care. This is Mikekai. I just want to welcome every single person that is here today. My good friend and mentor, Dr. Samchand, is with us today. If a lot of you know who Dr. Chan is, he needs no introduction to you. For a lot of us, we could just go right in. But for a lot of you who've never heard of him, just let me tell you that he counsels, he advises high-level leaders of all spheres of society. He's an incredible author of many books, more than 12. I mean, he's got many books as well. A leader and a founder of several things, including Dream Releaser Coaching, with my wife Lisa and I took 2 years ago. We're certified executive coaches along with that. But not only is he just more than a counselor, advisor, but he's also a friend. He and his wife Brenda have been coming to Hawaii to speak to me and Lisa for the last 8 years. And ever since I was introduced to you, Dr. Chan, I would say the trajectory of our life and ministry, the way that we handle everything that we go through, from family to staffing and all of that, has been such an incredible experience and blessing to me and Lisa. So we want to thank you so much. He has an incredible website called samchand.com, samchand.com. And right now, I would say Dr. Chan is very likely the go-to voice in the world, one of the go-to voices in the world for so many people, but the go-to voice of people that I respect throughout America and the United States and throughout the world. So it is my pleasure, my honor to have my good friend, mentor, Dr. Samchand with us on this interview. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor Mike. It's an honor to be with you. I admire so many things about you, but one of the things that is really intriguing for me is how God has positioned you strategically in ministry and marketplace, sacred and secular, church and corporate. While you lead nonprofits, churches, 501c3s, you also lead LLCs. Your voice is heard in all spheres, and that is really unique. It's not everybody can do that. Not everyone should do that, but that is the grace on your life, and that is just so amazing. So our conversation today will be, sometimes it will veer toward the church and sometimes it'll veer towards corporation, but it'll always veer towards leadership in the middle. So thank you so much for having me talking with you about this today.
Thank you. I think the crisis that we are in right now, your expertise and your connection with so many people from different spheres of life and society have given you a broad spectrum and experience of what people are going through right now. Like for example, here we are in my home office, where normally I would be at my office about 30 minutes away in a beautiful setting with great staff and looking at them in the eye. I'd walk down the aisles, go through the hallways, have water cooler conversations, sidebar activities. Come on over here. I need to talk to you. Let me grab your head and give you a little noogie. And, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But you know what I mean? It would be able to do things like that. Somebody would run down to Starbucks, go get us something to drink. And collaboration was the name of the game whenever I would come into the office. Now it's different. I don't walk into my office with a game face on like I would in my other office. I'm walking in. People, I'm sure they know I'm coming before I'm even there. And today I got 2 daughters and a wife on the other side over here. It's changed so much, Dr. Chan. It's amazing at the same time. What are your thoughts on how things have changed so crazily?
Well, let me pick up where you just the word that you use, collaboration. I think we are collaborating at a higher level than we did when we were in person.
Mm,
So that means because I cannot see you, so as to speak, unless I'm FaceTiming you or Zooming or Skyping, something like that. If I cannot see you, if I cannot read your body language, if I cannot see your facial expressions, uh, which, body language is a good 80 plus percent of our communication. Since that is taken out, our levels of collaboration have become heightened.
mm,
So now, I'm sure we're going to end up talking somewhere today about communication, but somewhere in that collaborative aspect of it, people that were not as important at one time in our teams are the most important people right now.
so
I
true.
mean, without throwing anyone under the bus, you know, you
Beep,
know, our
beep.
I, yeah, our IT team, IT people, they were what we call our utility players. Don't talk to me, don't want to see you, just keep everything fixed, keep everything moving, just make it happen. The only time I want to talk to you is when something is wrong. When something is wrong, when something goes down, that's the only time I see you. Because in the IT world, it was if nobody talks to you, nobody sees you, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Everybody have to see you and talk to you all the time, something is wrong. Well, that has totally flipped now.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
mean, they have moved the IT team, the media team, people who think like that team have moved to the top of the totem pole.
Yeah.
Now, no, we're not looking at them at the end if something goes wrong. We are talking to them at the front end. In fact, we are asked, used to be, we told them, this is what I want done. Now we're asking them, can we do this?
It's flipped.
Everything has changed in the collaborative world. And so I think whenever we revert back to whatever that is, it's never going to be the same, but whatever it is, if we lose this moment of high
Mm,
level collaboration,
yeah.
then we will have lost a major opportunity in our organizations. Corporate or church really doesn't matter. So this is a time when everybody knows everybody needs everybody.
Yes.
This is a time we know that, oh, so-and-so has been really important in my life and I have not even known it.
Mm,
Or the reverse. Some
yeah.
people we thought were just the thing, the person I've got to have who makes it happen for me. All of a sudden we see that they are not the person.
Yeah.
And that is creating all kinds of great conversations around our world, not just America, around the world. So collaboration is going to be heightened, if anything at all.
Absolutely. I was laughing so hard because, all the techie guys are all wearing black, right, all the time. So it's the men in black have taken over, the girls in black. The geeks are running the show now. It's
Right,
pretty
that's right.
amazing. No pun intended. No disrespect there. Because now I thought about 2 years ago, it came into my head and into my thoughts quite often that if we ever hit something like a global crisis, like we're going on right now through today, I started the church in 2001, right before 9/11. Changed the rules. I had 6 months of sermons. Boom, content change on the fly. Um, Led through the global financial crisis, just like you did in 2008 to 2010. We used it to our advantage. That was great. This one is totally different. This one, we are more connected than ever before. The internet has changed the game dramatically. Back in 2008, 2010, during that time, the internet was not as robust as it is today. You had nothing like social media that it is today. Um, what I'm seeing is not only are the people who we thought or people would think that are the cats meow, the guns, who are still very, very valuable at this time. But what we're noticing is even the ones that we thought were sleepers are now actually the skill sets that are coming out of them that we never saw before. These are the diamonds that are in the rough that are coming to the forefront. But it's also creating, in my opinion, a little bit of unseen friction. I think that there could be some fear and concern going throughout different organizations of where does this shake out? Where does this, when the sifting is done, where does it land? What are your thoughts on that?
So at this time, as everyone knows, people are making decisions as to who to retain, who to release, who to reassign. Those are three decisions being made, doesn't matter where you are. So let me give them to you again. Who to retain? Who do I keep? Who do I release?
So good.
Who do I repurpose, reassign? Let me say something about each one of those and why that has happened and how corporate leaders and church leaders are thinking. So before I say that, everything I'm going to say today is not because I thought of it. It is, I have in the last week or so, I have talked to literally hundreds of leaders, corporate and church, all over the world. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Philippines, Canada, US, I mean everywhere. So this is what's going on. People are figuring out who do I need to actually keep. And I'll tell you the keepers. Keepers are people with only one quality, and that is solutions. At this point of the game, analysis is important, projections are important, extrapolating data is important, but people who bring solutions are going to rise to a higher level. So if you're listening to me right now and you are in that vortex of your life, if you can bring solutions, and your solution may not be the silver bullet, but your leaders are looking at people who have solutions. You may give them 3 solutions and they may not take any of them, not use any of them, but simply the fact that you brought solutions.
Yeah.
The important part. So you don't have to be a genius, just think like a genius.
Yeah.
Bring solutions. Second is who to release. So as happened in the great global recession and is happening right now, those who were on the edge anyhow are being released because this is the time to do it, if there was the time. And that simply happened because you did not make yourself valuable during that time. The irreplaceable are still irreplaceable.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking about who to release, that is the criteria you're using. And finally, who to reassign. Because what I'm finding out is that I could have been really good in department A, but the solutions I'm bringing to you are for department B, not my department, for department B. And so it's very possible that you will say to me, hey, Sam, you are thinking so good in department B. Can you move over there? And so our gifts shift with our age and stage, and now our gifts and our talents are shifting with the world around us as well.
This shift that's taking place right now in our society right now, from church, business, whatever it is, the common thing that you see in the leader that is able to make those shifts, what do you see in that leader that is able to adjust?
Oh man, so it's the first thing that comes to my mind is leading in ambiguity. So those who've heard me teach on leadership know that I've said this sentence before, but boy, has it got amplified now.
Yeah.
Leading in ambiguity is the highest level of leadership. When you don't know what to do, what do you do? When people are looking to you to lead, but you don't know what next Sunday is going to look like, what your next Wednesday is going to look like, what your next payroll is going to look like. When you don't know what to do, what do you do? So what happens at that time is we always revert back to our previous experiences. Well,
Okay.
when this happened, this is the adjustment I made. When that happened, this is how I was thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that is all you have right now. All you have are your previous experiences. But what you do need to know is, even though they are your previous experiences, they do not give you the certitude and the known factor that you're looking for. So here are the things that leaning in ambiguity says. It says simply this: I don't know, but we all can figure it out together. I don't make the decisions, we all make them together. I may have the final say, but nobody is as smart as all of us. The genius does not lie in one person, it lies in all people. And leading ambiguity says, hey, Sam, you work in department A, but I think you have something to contribute to department C and D. What do you think? Because leaders are used to, we sat around a table and we looked at the finance people about finance, we looked at the ministry people about ministry, about marketing people about marketing, media people about media. And now we're asking media people questions about finances, and we're asking finance people questions about media. And so we are pulling on people in ways that we have never done before. And an ambiguity that allows us to do that, because nobody knows, and yet everybody knows.
So good.
Let me say that again. Nobody knows, but everybody knows. So who is your person, and how can you, even if you are talking to a finance person, you can ask them a media question or a marketing question, and vice versa. And you don't have to agree, disagree, make a decision. But boy, this is the time you're pulling on people's genius that's inside of them that has never been asked or accessed. So we can do that in a very real way.
What I love about what you said was your past experiences are not necessarily going to be helping you with the future decisions that you have to make. So I asked for data the other day. I need some data. And someone said to me, would you like the data from a year ago? And I said, no, because that data from a year ago is irrelevant. It is useless information. I said, I just want from January 1st to where it is today, because I want to see the trend just from January 1st. And then the most important part is probably the last week of February. Where were we in the last week of February? It's changed. The information, what you relied on in the past is definitely not the things that you need for the future. Some of it, no doubt about it. I feel, if I might say, that someone asked me, are you ready for this? And I told them without a lot of pride in my heart, but with certainty, I said, I'm excited. I'm actually kind of excited. I'm not excited about what's happening to the world. I'm not excited about what's happening in Italy and South Korea, what's happening in China, what's happening in beginning to start in Hawaii. I'm not happy about that. I'm not excited about that. But I'm excited about the change in what do we look like when this is over? I'm not necessarily fearful, but I'm kind of excited. I feel like all of the experiences of the past, of the global financial crisis, 9/11, and all of the different things that you've known me go through as you've been consulting me over the years, I feel like we've been prepared for this. Although nobody's really prepared for this, I feel like we've been prepared for this. What do you say to the person that is not prepared at this time and is playing catch up? How do you address that person?
Okay, let me do that. But let me also say this to you. God knew about all of this. None of this caught him by surprise.
Yeah.
He placed you and me and everybody listening to us on this planet for such a time as this.
That's right.
He could have placed us at any moment in history in the past or held us for the future. He placed us at this time, in this place, in this context.
That's right.
So God knew what was going to happen. God knew who was going to be here. That means he trusts us in this moment. And I don't want to disappoint his confidence in me. He had confidence that I would be a strong, faith-filled, leader during this time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was his purpose in my life. So the sovereignty of God during crisis times, your theology gets tested. And our theology is God is a sovereign God. Now, to your question, for those who are not prepared, you do the best with what you have. That's what you have. And all of a sudden, the important things go down, the essential things rise up, and you start making decisions based out of two things, either fear or foresight.
Okay.
Fear or foresight. Now, for believers, would say fear or faith, because we are talking to a broader audience, Pastor Mike. It's fear or foresight. So fear says, "Oh boy, I'd better." Foresight says, "You know something? This is a marathon.
Yeah.
This is not a sprint. Things will never go back to normal. There'll be a new normal."
Yeah.
So what is the foresight? Good, I grant I should have been prepared. I'm not prepared. I should have had more capital margin. I don't have capital margin. I should have built a stronger team. I don't have a stronger team. I should have been doing online services. I didn't do online services. I should have created a database. I did not create a database. I get that, but that's where you're at. Now you got to say, ask yourself a question instead of bemoaning the fact. Get yourself into gear, get your head in a zone that says, where are we going and what do I need to be doing where I am going? So you got to pack for where you're going. Everybody packs for where they're going. So if I was traveling, right now nobody's traveling. So, but if I was traveling and you open my suitcase and you saw flip-flops and t-shirts and cutoffs in there, you know I'm going to a warm climate.
You
You
come into
open my
Hawaii.
suitcase, like Hawaii, right? You open my suitcase and you see a big heavy jacket in there, thermal underwear, big socks, gloves. You see that in my suitcase, you know I'm going to a cold place. That simply says I don't pack for where I am. I don't pack for where I've been. I
Yeah.
pack for where I am going. So those of you who find yourself ill-prepared for the challenges right now, start packing now for where you are going. Get your head in the future zone. Because if you get into crisis management, don't do crisis management. Please listen to me, everybody. I'm folding my hands right now.
Come on.
Don't manage this crisis. Lead through the crisis. The only way out of this crisis is through the crisis. Please hear that. So the out is going to be through, and you got to lead. Don't manage. Management says I shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's not going to help you at all. Now you say, where are we going? What will life be like? What do I need in my suitcase now so that when I arrive there, I will be ready to flow with it? And I think if people can start thinking, leading, packing for the future, they will free up zone space in their head. Don't be down on yourself. Please don't be down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. This is not the time for that. This is the time for you to say, got it. I'll be ready. I'm packing. I'm ready to go.
I love that. I love that. I think the perspective of the crisis, of what you're going through, how you view it determines how you do it. So the way, if you're viewing this as the worst thing that could have ever happened to you, the biggest inconvenience that you've ever been through, the most insurmountable thing that you've ever experienced, then absolutely you're going to whine and complain because it's inconvenient. You're going to be upset at the world and at God or your boss or your coworkers because it's not going well. That's what happens when it's inconvenient. I think also when it's insurmountable, we get scared, we hide, we don't ask, we don't offer. And then we end up seeing this thing as we can't beat this. And then we end up almost to the demise of our own self. But if we see this as an opportunity, that this is an opportunity for me to learn something new, this is an opportunity for me to do what maybe to get repurposed. It worked out for my good. God's in control at the end of the day. He's going to work it out for me. I really believe that how we see it and how we perceive it is really, really important. Packing for where you're headed is brilliant, Dr. Chan, not where you are right now, not where you've been. Knowing someone who's been in different time zones and different climates within 72 hours. So you could be packed for Hawaii, but man, when you're done with Hawaii and you're going to a colder climate like Aspen, right? You got to pack for Aspen. That's brilliant. I love that. Dr. Chan, switching gears just a little bit, communication, engagement. I've noticed that, of course, man, the text messages come flying, the WhatsApp and the Zooms and all of this, the acceleration of communication and decision making. Speak to us about that. What does that look like, and what are you experiencing and seeing the common traits and denominators of communication?
So communication has different speeds. During the height of crisis, it's got to be faster. Right now, I think leaders need to put pause, even if it was for 5 minutes, before you send that email out, before you respond to the text. Just give yourself just a little space. And the reason for that is right now we are overloaded. If your phone or your email is anything like mine, everybody's trying to sell you something. Everybody's got a something going on, and there's nothing wrong with that. I totally understand the opportunities that come in the middle of everything else, the advantages and the adversity. I get that. So you have a lot of noise going on, and a lot of dissonance because the noise is not clear. So I think we need to just slow it down. A few things about communication. Number one, you can never over communicate. Just know that you can never over communicate. If you think you're over communicating, you need to communicate a little bit more. You can
So true.
Because you are making up for body space. You're making up for face that people see, that you're making up for that. The also thing is, if you can think of a triangle, if you can think of a triangle and have horizontal slices in it, and put your organization into that. So at the bottom might be all your constituents, all your customers, all your church members, everyone online. Let's just say there's a bottom part of it. What is above that, was above that, was above that, was above that. And then at the top will probably be the CEO, executive director, lead pastor, executive team. That is what I call cascading your communication. That simply says this: if you make a decision at the top and somehow you skip over levels 2, 3, and 4 and go directly to number 5, you are going to create an unnecessary challenge for yourself. It's a problem you self-created. Don't do that. Have a cascading thing so that there's a communication strategy, a tactic, a plan. So you go from one level to the second level, to the third level, to the fourth level, to the fifth level, and do not bypass anybody. And I see that happening right now because people are just on their phones, and all of a sudden, instead of going down to level 2 and 3, they got a text from level 5 and they responded to level 5. And now all of a sudden 2, 3, and 4 are finding out that decision from level 5. And you have got issues now. Morale issues, you've got hierarchy issues, you've got all kinds of issues there. So keep that in mind. The other thing about communication is however you communicate, you will be misunderstood. Please know that. You shall be misunderstood. I don't care how you write it out, where you put the comma, how you parse it, how you put the little smiley face in there, emoji in there, whatever, you will be misunderstood. Let me just tell you that. So if your goal is not to be misunderstood, you're going to miss it all. So if somebody misunderstands you, don't make that your focus. That's not their misunderstanding. What you said is a total non-issue. You just communicate. And if they misunderstood you, misunderstood you. Don't be trying to clean it up. Just don't get defensive. Don't try to explain yourself further. Don't raise your voice. Don't just don't.
Don't use
Keep,
exclamation points for sure.
no, absolutely, and no all caps.
No all caps.
Yeah. And then if you can keep your communication as clear and concise as possible, clarity. I think the greatest need of the people right now is clarity. Just tell me. Just tell me. The other thing about communication is you can control your decision, but you cannot control people's responses. Please know that.
Wow.
You can control your decisions, but not people's responses.
Right.
People who are control freaks are having a very hard time right now, because all of a sudden you find out you control very little. You control almost nothing.
Right.
You don't control how close you stand to a person anymore.
Right.
You don't control any of those things. And I think that the last thing I want to say, I got so much to say about communication, but this is a very important one, Pastor Mike.
Okay.
Leaders are speaking intellectually, but people are hearing it emotionally.
So good.
So leaders are speaking from here. People are listening from here.
They're getting it here, though.
Absolutely. So what are they feeling? How are you empathizing? How are you tuning into? I heard about one of my friends who went to a grocery store, and this gentleman walked in there. He was with his wife, and he walked in there, and he saw this customer who was yelling at the manager about, these people are so close to me. Don't they know they need to be 6 feet away? And da. The manager was trying to explain, we have sanitizers everywhere. We have, for you to have this, we have that. So the manager was responding here, but the customer was speaking from here. Fear was speaking from here. Intellect was speaking from here. So I want to just encourage all the leaders, doesn't matter which sector you are in, speak from here. Don't make it sound like I got it. You all need to have more faith. You all need to practice more of this. I got a plan. No, everybody knows you don't know.
So true.
You don't know. So just be congruent with that. You're speaking from here. People are listening from here. If you speak from here, you will speak their language.
Dr. Chan, thinking about what you were talking about, when this is over, if it's ever over, what is your foresight on how the sector that I'm most involved in, which is church, how do you perceive church moving forward? Do you see a big reunion coming back when we get to open our doors again? Or do you see, it's a reunion, not as big, people still a little nervous coming in, doing the whole Macarena wash hands thing. Do you see, I kind of like church online. I like being in my living room, worshiping with my family and in the comfort of my home. How do you see this all playing out?
This is really early to tell, but I can tell you what some leaders are thinking. The first thing leaders are thinking is, I needed more financial margin. Because all of a sudden you got bills to pay, you got staff to pay, you got mortgages to pay. Even if you never open your building, it is still consuming money. So I think leaders are thinking about, I should have been a little more prepared financially. Number one. Number two is, so all of a sudden, are buildings really that important? Have we thought through the delivery system? So do people still go to my store to buy, or can I deliver it to them? Are as many people can sit down to eat, or can it be delivery only?
Yeah.
Do people want to come and sit shoulder to shoulder in church, or do they want their personal spaces? So if you could seat 1,000 people in your building, you can probably seat at the most 500, probably more like 250 now, because nobody's interested in sitting shoulder to shoulder. I think how we deliver church will be different. I'll tell you the most important change that will happen. I don't know how it will happen, but I can tell you the most important change that will happen is how do we care for our people?
Right.
Some people call it discipleship. Some people call it assimilation. Some people call it engagement. I don't care what shingle you hang on it. How will we shepherd our people? And that level of engagement, the big word in my head is engagement, engagement, engagement. So I don't know how it will change, but I can tell you this much, Pastor Mike, engagement in the corporate sector and the church sector is totally going to shift. And how we do that, I don't know. Will we do that? Absolutely. I think we will find people realizing how much we need each other. And here's the funny thing, how much we want each other.
Right. Yes.
And how important community is, because the church has always been about community. You know, the church was launched in the day of Pentecost. They were in one place.
Right.
In one accord. So church has always been about community. And now how we create that sense of community and engagement, that is yet to be figured out.
Talk about skating to where the puck is going to be, right?
Absolutely.
Rather than where the puck is.
Absolutely. And I think that is where one of the things that you provide through your leadership, Pastor Mike, and I'm praying that you would kind of dig into it deeper, is having conversations with a small group of pastors and helping them figure out where the puck needs to go for them. Because where the puck needs to go for you in a larger church, in a multi-site church, in a large city is going to be different from that pastor who has 25 people coming, for that pastor who has got 65 in a rural community somewhere.
Yeah.
And helping them figure out what their future is going to look like is going to be a great gift. God's given you a brilliant mind. You have a real capacity to deconstruct and then reconstruct. Not many people have that. And so I'm praying that God will utilize your gifts to help pastors figure out what to pack now for where they're going.
I really believe that all the pastors and leaders and business people who are listening to this, people from our influencers, professional network, people from our Inspire Pastors Network, I know they're going to benefit, but even a broader audience that is going to receive this video is phenomenal. Dr. Chand, before we bring this time to a close, because I know you're in high demand right now and everybody can't fly you in. Nobody can fly you in, but everybody wants to hear what you have to say. Give us your parting shot. What would be the parting shot that you would give to all of us?
First of all, I want to speak to the community at large, and then I want to speak to the believing community. And by the way, if you do not know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, this is an amazing time for you to know that if you don't want to go to church, you can just tune into Mikekai. And he's got multiple things going on, and the Lord would want to have you in his kingdom. So let me speak to the community at large. The community at large needs to realize how connected we really are.
Yeah.
How the person who cleans the airplane and unloads your luggage is as important as the CEO of that airline. How connected we are to the people who drive our groceries to our stores. How connected we are to factories. How connected we are. And if you look at the virus world map and you see all the red spaces, that tells you immediately how connected we are. And I don't want us as a large body to ever forget our connectedness.
Yeah.
This is not an individualistic world we live in. We are totally connected. I need you and you need me. To the believing community, I want to say, if I could use Job for an example, in Job chapter 1, he has 9/11, global crisis, recession. He has 1987, Black Monday. He has the present crisis, all thrown into one day. In chapter 1, it opens up, Job lost everything he had, his children, his houses, his land, his possessions, his wealth, and his health. It all went away in one day. And it says this in Job chapter 1. In all that, he did not blame God and worshiped him. So let me make it real succinct for you. Blaming God is always wrong. Worshiping God is always right.
Yeah.
So the believing community, the Christian believing community, I want to say to you, if there was ever a time that we need to worship him, it is now. Because anybody can worship him when none of this is going on. It's
Right.
easy then. But really, your theology and your believing is being tested right now. So as a family, as leaders, I want to encourage you to worship God more than any other time. Last thing I want to say to everybody watching me, pray for your leaders. This is not an easy time. Pray for your pastors. They're making crazy, big, consequential decisions. Decisions they're making now will last through their lifetime for sure, maybe into the next generation. So pray for your leaders. Don't fight your leaders. Your leaders are trying to do their very best. Encourage your leaders. Send a text message, a WhatsApp message, whatever kind of message you can send to your leaders. Don't have to be long, philosophical, theological treatise. Just say to them, Pastor Mike, keep leading. Pastor Mike, Pastor Lisa, stay strong. Pastor Lisa, we miss you. Pastor Mike, Inspire Church, thank you for leading us. Just short messages. We're praying for you. You have no idea how much they need it right now. Not want it. They need it right now. And if you'll do that for your leaders, you will help them make better decisions. You'll help them remain healthy emotionally. You'll help them stabilize their lives. And most of all, they will know that you are with them and for them. And I know you will be the beneficiary of all of that.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's so good. Our time together goes by so fast. I know you and I know each other so well that we could go on for another 2 to 3 hours and not skip a beat. But I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, from the influencers, from the Inspire Network, from the church in Hawaii that loves you so much, and the business people that respect you. When this is all over, we want to bring you back, and definitely we're going to do something big. Dr. Chan, I know you've got some product, and not only do you have a product, but man, I tell you what, one of the biggest books that really changed my life was Leadership Pain. What a great book. If you go to samchand.com and get Leadership Pain and Bigger, Faster Leadership, which is a great example of what's going on today. But I know you got a new book, and I'd love for you to share it with us. What is it?
I want to give this away. I'm not selling this. It's called 52 Tuesdays with Sam Chand. It's a leadership manual. It's a leadership devotional. It's 224 pages. We will send it to you in the United States.
Yeah.
We'll send this to you. Yeah. We will send this to you free of charge. You may pay some postage, shipping, and handling on this, but this is a full book, and it will help you lead in a marvelously higher level. So what you need to do is to go to 777 and just put in the word Tuesday, 33777, the word Tuesday. And I know Pastor Mike's media team is going to drop that media slice in there as well so that you can see it for what you need to do. But this is free of charge, and you can tell anybody you want to. We will send it to you free of charge. Thank you, Pastor Mike. There is no cost for this. We just want to bless the community of our Lord right now.
Awesome, Dr. Chan. And I also, as a free gift to America only, I want to give away a free Kindle version of my book called Plateaus, Going from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And also, I've got a book that I really love that I just finished writing. It's called New Thinking, New. It's Dr. Chan's book. I'm just kidding. Get this book too. New Thinking, New Future. You got to buy this from Dr. Chan. It's not my book. It's Dr. Sam Chan's book. But go to his website, samchand.com, and get this book. Buy this one and get that other 52 Weeks with Sam for free. And you text that number. Dr. Chan, we love you so much. Let me move that off your face. Dr. Chan, we love and appreciate you so much. I know you're very, very busy. Short notice, but you're my go-to.
Let's do this again. Absolutely. Love you much.
Love you too. Say hi to Brenda. Aloha.
Hey, I hope you really enjoyed that time with Sam and myself in that interview, and that was gold. Feel free to pass it on to any of your friends, and don't forget to sign up for Sam's free book. But I also would like to give you a free Kindle version of my book called Plateaus, Going from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. So make sure you pick that up by going to mikekai.tv. That's mikekai.tv, real simple. And give us all of your information that you need to give us in the required fields. Press that button and we'll get that book to you right away. So the Lord bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay clean, stay dry, and stay joyful. Take care.